Hello and welcome to another episode of the Let's Get Kraken podcast. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. I really appreciate it. If you are a new viewer, hi, I'm Eden. Welcome to my little corner of the internet. I'm the owner of I'm the owner of Kraken Made, where I sell handmade treasures such as progress keepers, hand-dyed yarn, and my own pattern designs. You can find me on Instagram as Crafting Kraken Made, and you can also find me and my patterns on Love Crafts and Payhip. My intro is a little rough. I've fallen out of practice just because it's been a couple days than what I usually film. So welcome to the podcast. I am in a new little space. I was trying to get some of the sunshine instead of using my ring light and getting that weird lighting that I usually do. So we're just going to do our best. The window's open, so you're going to hear noises from out there probably, and the bed I'm sitting on is slightly squeaky, so I will move as little as possible. It's been tough I'm experimenting with different areas in the house to see if I can get an area with better lighting. I don't think that's possible though. It's super hard because it's a big house that echoes, and there's also a lot of people in this house, so we take what we can get. But it's quiet today because most of my family are out having a little weekend vacation. Me, my husband, and my oldest brother went on a trip to go visit my in-laws. We're all very close, so we could all go, and we had a really good time. I got a ton of knitting done, mostly finished objects to show you today. But yeah, I'll talk more about my time there and what we've been up to near the end of the video. And I'll throw this in here now. If you enjoy the podcast, please consider subscribing and clicking the like button. It helps the podcast go out to more yarnies out in the world so we can keep connecting. And I need your help to do that. So if you enjoy the podcast, it would be awesome if you would subscribe. It would mean a lot. Okay, we might as well just hop right into it, shall we? Like I said, mostly finished objects. I've got 2 whips. One is brand new. And I have some sock sets to show you that went into the shop last week. Oops, I'm sorry about the echoing in here. Ooh. Oh well. Try and keep it as calm as possible. Anyway, let's hop right into it, shall we? So first finished object, I'll do this in the order that I finished them. Sorry, these socks are a little fuzzy because I've been wearing them already and it was a little dusty on the floor. Anyway, here we are. I finished my Reuel Socks out of my own hand-dyed yarn. This is called Barbossa's Apple. It's a Pirates of the Caribbean reference. And I love how these turned out. The color and the texture go together so well. So the yarn, like I said, Barbossa's Apple, is my own hand-dyed yarn. This is on my Whirlpool fingering base, which is a 2-ply non-superwash merino and 1-ply superwash merino put together. So you get a slightly marled barber pole color. This one, it's slightly harder to tell, but it is there. It gives it a very variegated look. And it is my own pattern design, the Reuel Socks. This comes in a fingering version and a DK version. Both the versions are sold separately, but Somebody banging around. But if you go to the website, you can get the patterns together as a krakenmade.com exclusive when it's a bundle. Man, there's so many details to go into. But yeah, the Reuel Socks, I used 2.25 millimeter needles, US ones, I believe. And they're so easy. It's just a simple seated ribbing, and you do these toe up. And I tried a new cast off. This is a cast off invented, I guess, by Reuel Knits, which is the designer off of my cardigan that I'll show you that I got some progress on. And I really like this. The first sock I did, I was a little hesitant if that had been a good idea. I mean, it's not straight and it flares a little, but what I found is it's not curling. Like, it's flaring, but it's not curling. If I had done it a little bit tighter, it probably would help. It's got enough stretch, and I don't really have issues with it. I think I would do this again on a sock. I am not bothered by flaring of any kind. It doesn't really bug me because when it's on your foot, it stretches out anyways, so I don't really mind. And when I take pictures of it, usually it's on a sock blocker, so it's okay. But yeah, I do not an afterthought, a German short row heel. It looks like an afterthought heel, but different construction. And I love these, and I love how cozy they are and how soft they are. One of the main concerns that some people had with this base, the Whirlpool fingering base, is that it doesn't have any nylon in it, but it's a mostly wool base, and a non-superwash wool is incredibly sturdy, so I have no worries about these wearing out fast without nylon in it, because when you use regular wholesome wool, it is gloriously sturdy and soft. So yeah, no worries there. That's my first finished object. My next finished object isn't actually here, but I'll throw a picture in now. And I have an example of like what it is. So I knit another Bristlecone hat, and I finished it off pretty quick. And I've been making these as a Christmas gift stuff so that I can be on top of things, but so far that hasn't really been working out, because when I finished the first one, I liked it so much that I kept it for myself. The next one, it has been taken away to be given as a gift to some people, where my parents took it when they're going on their weekend vacation to give to a friend. So that worked out really well. But now I gotta actually start knitting for Christmas stuff. But anyway, here's mine. It is an amazing textured toque, as we say here in Canada. It's a little warm in here, but let's put on a little bit of slouch. And it's so comfy. This is one of my favorite hats. I have another one of these done in a Christmas colorway that I wear all the time. So it's awesome to have it. So Bristlecone by the Knitty Pine. I can't remember what yarn it was. I don't think I had the ball band, but it was a worsted weight in a nice deep blue. And I used the needles called for in the pattern. And I think I said this the last time when I finished this hat, that the Knitty Pine recently redid this pattern and has it in adult sizes and baby sizes. Well, it varies from baby to adult, so which is amazing. And it works out great. Okay. Oof, I said that too loud. I'm so sorry. It's so echoey in here. That's the other thing I have to worry about, is finding a place that the sound is okay. Which is harder than it seems. Wait, I finished another pair of socks. I haven't blocked either of my socks yet because I love wearing them right away. So I finished my Hufflepuff socks. These are just vanilla socks. These ones were done cuff down, the German short row heel. And yeah, this is my simple vanilla sock recipe that's in my brain that I just follow whenever I cast any on. I could write it out if somebody wants to, but there are a lot of vanilla sock patterns out there. Anyway, so yeah, I call these my Hufflepuff socks because the yarn is Hufflepuff by Storyweaver Yarn, and it kind of like self-striped. It wasn't dyed as a self-striping, but it did, which is so cool. Like, it looks like the house scarf. And I also did these on 2.25 millimeter needles. That's my go-to for a 64 stitch vanilla sock. And so these will get thrown into my sock collection, which is growing more than I thought it would. Like, I'm not a sock wearer. You find me barefoot 99% of the time. I love knitting socks though, and they come in super handy that I will wear them in my boots and stuff, in my shoes. They're so cozy and I love them, so it's awesome to have these thrown in. And my vanilla socks are the things I grab the most, so I know that they will be well loved. Okay, so now to the big finished object that I'll say in advance that I was supposed to podcast yesterday, which is Friday. Today, nope. I was supposed to podcast Friday, but we had gotten home from our trip on the Thursday and we were pretty worn out. Like, going on a vacation can be exhausting. So we just took a break and I knit and we hung out a little bit and we had a good day. We had a very chill day. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna film on Saturday and just put it out on Saturday. Well, my Sonya Tee was almost done, and if you have seen the last podcast, I promised that I would finish it. Well, I set the goal. I really like setting goals in podcasts so that I can get stuff done and not let anything linger, because I have a terrible habit of doing that. But it took so much more work than I thought it would. It took forever. I did cast it off yesterday, but by the time I had been done, it was late in the evening. I started it in the morning, expecting to be done in the morning, and then it reached 5 o'clock and I finally finished it. I worked on it all day. But I can proudly say that my Sonya Tee is done. I mean, I have to weave in ends and block it, but I don't have to knit it anymore. I'm not saying that it was not enjoyable. It was so enjoyable. The color work on this was so intuitive and relaxing, super easy to like memorize as soon as you did a couple of like repeats. The issue I found was I enjoyed the color work so much, and then I reached the peplum bottom and it was just knitting, and I got quite bored with it. So I had to really push myself to work on the peplum bottom. I had like avoided it for a whole day and finished a whole sock. Well, not the whole sock, but most of a sock because of it. So that helped me gain some motivation, but it's done. It's slightly cropped because I got impatient, but that is totally okay. I'll just wear some high-rise jeans with it and it'll work out. It'll like be a really great outfit. I've tried it on. Fits beautifully. I love it so much. I could technically slip it on to show you. Hang on. Yeah, there you go. This really helps show the color work in its best I'm just scared to sit up slightly. You can hear a creak in the bed. Oop. Nope. There we go. But oh my goodness, I love it. It turned out so well. So I used the needles called for. I'm not going to say them because it's a paid for pattern. And for the contrast color, I used Ruby and Roses sock yarn that was a June 2021 Mystery Club. And then the main color here, just give me 1 minute. Okay. The main color was Garnet from Midnight Cravings on their Take a Hike sock. It's really pretty and it's so nice. I've got the scraps here that's leftovers. There's about 44 grams left. My husband weighed it for me. I believe that's how much it was. But it's so nice to finally use this yarn in a project because it has to be over 6, possibly 7 years. It's been waiting so long. It's a skateboarder. Now I can split a 20 gram mini off of it to throw into an advent calendar trade with Amy Kate of the Graceful Tangle that I've been doing. I don't know if she watches the podcast. Amy, if you do, spoiler alert. But yeah, I can throw that in there. And then that gives me 20 grams left to make a granny square. And it gets all the use out of it, which is amazing. And yeah, so Sonya Tee by Born and Raised Knits. She has a DK version of the sweater as well, which would be really cool to make. I love this top. I think it was a fantastic summer knit. It'll definitely have to cool down before I can wear this, but I really love it. I love how it kind of gives me like, what's his name? Jim Henson vibes. Like the dark crystal and labyrinth, that style. If I were a character in there, I'd probably wear this. Oh, I love it. And I don't think I made any changes to this pattern other than I knit it a little shorter. Oh, and my cast off, I did it again. The cast off I used on my Reuel sock, I did on this, and it works out so well. It's got good stretch. It's super clean. Once it's blocked, it's gonna look awesome. I think it works out way better than the usual cast off I do, is where you knit 2 stitches and then knit those 2 together. Then you knit 1, knit those 2 together, da da da. And it works out great. It's a nice stretchy bind off, but I find it folds on itself because it's so loose. And this one doesn't, so I really like that. So yeah, I think that's all my finished objects. That's 4 finished objects. I think that's the most I've ever had in a podcast. I might be wrong, but I think that's the most. Okay, so works in progress. I'll start with my old one. I got all those projects done. I finished my Reuel Socks just after the last podcast, I believe. And then I took 2 pairs of socks with me. I never got to the second pair of socks, but I cast so much information. Okay. I did not take this project with me on the road. That's the point of all the words coming out of my mouth. I took the top as my main project. But just before I left, I finished a sleeve on my spring autumn jacket by Reuel Knit. Let's see if I can get there. It is quite the puzzle of a project. It's such weird shape at the moment. So there's the back, the fronts, And here's the sleeve that I finished. So I'll put it on here. And so it's going to be like a bit of a drop shoulder and a huge, well, it's not a huge sleeve actually. I was worried it was going to be a huge sleeve. Where the heck does this end? Well, there it is. So it's not like a humongous sleeve, but it's a good like wide sleeve. It's gonna be so amazing. I'm so excited for this. This is gonna be my podcast goal, to finish. My next podcast goal is to finish this sweater. I'm trying to like make it through my bigger projects to work down my whip collection that I've gotten. Oh, my hair is floofy today. It's a little humid. Yeah, I finished the sleeve. So I've just got one sleeve left and then the collar. And that's it. I can't believe it. This has been such an enjoyable knit. This is a completely garter cardigan. I'm doing this on size 6mm needles, which is way bigger than what the pattern calls for, but I'm using a sport weight wool. Rintalan, don't even go there. But I have their website linked down below. It is 100% natural finish yarn, finish wool that you can buy. It's done in, I don't know. It's hard to tell because their website is in Finnish. You have to use a little Google Translate, but it is so amazing. It's soft and woolly and toothy. It's glorious. And once it's blocked, it's gonna make the most amazing cardigan because it's so light. Like you can see kind of how loose my gauge is. It will bloom and definitely like fill in those gaps, so I'm not worried about that, but it's so light and drapey that I'm not gonna add pockets. So that part I'm skipping. Because it wouldn't be able to hold pockets if it had anything in there. So yeah, that is the progress I have on that, and this will be next podcast finished object. Okay, so last thing here is my last whip, which is a sock I just started a couple days ago. So this is my next vanilla sock. I am being drawn into knitting vanilla socks just because I'm trying to bust some stash to lower down, because my goal for the next while is to move towards using just my hand-dyed yarn when I knit, which will be really cool. I will buy yarns here and there from other people because I can't make all the amazing things. People are so creative and genius that I will probably buy other people's yarns, but I want to mostly use my own hand-dyed yarn. So I've had this yarn for a very long time that I even forgot what it was. So I had to do some hunting. This is a sock set from Woolen Boon. Woolen Boon? Yes. And it is a self-striping sock set called Koi Pond. And how amazing is this? I had no idea it was self-striping. Like, it's been that long. It's been sitting in balls for a couple of years now. This was a gift to me from Megan of Magnifinits as a grad gift. So it's been a while. And it's been waiting. And I finally started knitting it. And oh my goodness, it's self-striping. I've never knit a hand-dyed self-striping before. I've knit like opal socks before, but never something like this. How pretty is that? No, not Wool Boon. I don't know. The Wool Baron. I come around to it. Wool Baron, Koi Fish Pond, something like that. I checked if she had any. She didn't, so unfortunately. But here is a little progress keeper that I'm using. This is a hoggle that I have one in the shop. It's so pretty. It's just like a little drop with some crystals in it. Maybe I'll hold it this way. This will help. Come on. Show yourself to the world. How pretty you are. How pretty is that? I think it's so elegant with this sock. But I'm doing these toe up in vanilla. I will probably be doing a German short row heel because it is my go-to. So easy to memorize and just do. And yeah, so that is my vanilla socks that I am doing. Oh yeah, 2.25 millimeter needles, my go-tos for 64 stitch socks. And that will be my vanilla knitting. Usually I designate my vanilla socks as like traveling socks, but I've been so into them lately that they're just gonna be anytime I want socks. Pretty much. So yeah, that is all the progress and finished things that I have. Now I'm going to show you some new yarn that came to the shop. So exciting. Alright, so in the last shop update that happened last week, I have 3 new sock sets and a new colorway in the Whirlpool DK. And I did put up a Whirlpool DK sweater quantity option if you're wanting to get your hands on some like glorious, it's 2-ply non-superwash and then 1-ply superwash merino wool. It's super soft and squishy and glorious. It would make an amazing sweater. I plan to knit a sweater soon with it. I just can't decide my colors yet. But here it is. I'll start off with this one. I'm gonna undo it so you can really see it. So this is a beautiful deep red for fall time coming up. This is called First Mate. So, oh my goodness, I love it. So what it is, when you can see the barber pole effect in this yarn, you can see the lighter red is the non-superwash wool, and then the deep red is the superwash. And oh my goodness, I love this yarn so much. And this colorway just speaks to me. So yeah, First Mate is in the shop. There is a sweater quantity available of this if you just want like a straightforward red sweater or mix it up with something. I think it would look stunning with chocolate or the pale pink we have, but little cuttlefish. It's a good one. Yeah. All right, so the sock sets we have here, let's start off with this one. This one is a really pretty mix of pale pink and green. Got some gold in there, cream. And it comes with a really nice dark green mini. There's a truck across the street. There's many trucks. Hang on. Lots of trucks. Oh well. But this is called Distressing Damsel, which is a Pirates of the Caribbean reference. And oh, I love how this looks together. So this is done on our doubloon base, which is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. So you've got a more of a merino content, which makes it silky smooth, but you still have your nylon in there to make it nice and sturdy. It is a 2-ply. So it comes with a 100-gram skein and a 20-gram mini. So yeah, Distressing Damsel. I'll just hold it up for a sec for you. Admire. So pretty. Okay, next one is a fall themed one. I'm getting into those fall moods. I'm so excited for autumn to come and for the weather to cool off and just like get all cozy in my new hand knits. This one is She's Pumpkin Spicy. Ignore the tie-ins. It is a mix of like pale orange, browns, and a little bit of a red in there. Ooh. But yeah, She's Pumpkin Spicy. It comes with a nice deep brown mini. I've got 2 of these left in the shop. These went pretty fast. So if you want one, do hop on and grab one. Okay, and then this one, I shouldn't pick favorites among my own hand-dyed yarn, but this one's my favorite. This is Release the Kraken, and this one was a complete accident. I did write down how I did this, luckily, so I will probably dye more. I want a sweater out of this. I want to walk around and Release the Kraken. It is a stunning mix of like intense blues and purples. Got some like bright green in there. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. And then it comes with this purpley gray mini, and there's also only 2 of these left, so they're going quick. I'm trying to hold it. I don't know how to hold a sock set so that you can get like the full picture of it, but yeah, Release the Kraken. All my sock sets are on the doubloon base, 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon. It's like, oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. I don't know why I do that. When something is extra pretty, it's so pretty. But glorious colors. And those are all available in the shop right now. You can check the link below. And then last but certainly not least for the podcast, my husband is going to hop on and talk about his recent project. He finished my hat and was really missing having something to work on with his hands. So we started him on a cowl.
Well, hey, I have returned.
You've returned.
I've returned, yes. Yeah, I'm Ezra, in case Eden didn't say that. I'm her husband.
So a new viewer might not
know
who you are.
Yes, for new viewers. Apparently, Eden already kind of segued into this and said why I started one, so I'm just going to get into it. It's in the trusty same bag that you made me with the upside down print.
It was an accident, yeah.
Yes, but it's great. So, I've been working on a cowl. Brain fart. And, well, I haven't actually stretched it out very much.
Oh, there you go.
There's a pattern on it.
You can really see it on camera. That's cool.
Yeah. It doesn't
show up as much.
Not in real life. It kind of, well, you're stretching it out too. So like when it's bunched up, it doesn't see it. But yeah, there's like a fun pattern in it in the middle. So yeah, I wanted to start something else, like Eden said. And I looked at a couple basic patterns and stuff, but just couldn't really find anything. So I basically just started this myself. You helped me. Well, you did a lot of the ideas, but we kind of just came up with a design. So this is technically a new design. It's probably the next one because you don't have anything.
I didn't have anything for July.
Close and ready to be released. So, I mean, this will probably be the next one because we could write this up pretty quick. Yeah. So, what are we gonna call this? I haven't even thought about that.
Comment down below.
Comment.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got this really cool, it's called a string of beads pattern.
Is that what it's called? I don't remember.
The general texture. Textures have a way, so it looks like a string of beads, but
yeah, so it starts with just some ribbing and then some basics stockinette just for some simplicity's sake, then the pattern, and now I've started the stockinette and then it'll be ribbing, so the top will mirror the bottom. It's almost mirrored. And colors.
Here's the yarns.
I'm kind of doing this in the wrong order, aren't I?
There's no true order to it.
Wow. Good to know.
I'll show 3 different projects and I'll do it in different order every time. Just whichever comes to mind first.
Well, I'm good at that.
So we got this yellow. This is a Knit Picks Hawthorn kettle dye. Don't know what it's called, like the name, but it's a very bright yellow.
It's a very old stash thing.
It's super old.
Because we're going through Eden's stash. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah, we're both working through my stash to get down there so that when new projects happen, it can use hand-dyed yarn and do that. So this was like an oldie out of my stash, but this was an oldie out of my mom's stash that she gave to me. So it's been a while.
Yeah, so there's that, and then
this is what
I don't
he's
even
holding
know.
with it. This is a...
I was going to mention that. I was thinking about it.
Summer Club from Ginger Snap that I did with them last year. I made tiny little turtles, and she gave me a skein of the yarn.
Yeah. So I forgot to mention, this is fingering held double. I was thinking about this while you were talking there. It's fingering held double, so it is a DK weight project. I'm aiming for it to be just under 200 grams, so it would technically be a 2-skein project, because this is just over 100, and then this was 100. So, but I'm going to aim for it to be about a 2-skein project.
Which works out really well. It's a good, like...
Yeah, so it could be...
stash buster.
Yeah, so like this is completely... What's it called? Marled?
Yes.
It's completely marled, so it kind of fades out the pattern a little bit. But you could definitely do this with like a DK tonal or two variegated yarns or two tonals.
Yep.
Anything really. I think this is a pretty universal one.
We're saying it looks a lot like a pencil.
Yes. So casting this on, it's like, oh my goodness, that is complete pencil. Like a school yellow pencil. You've got the pink eraser and the dark lead. There's a little bit of brown gray, that would be the wood, and the green that holds on the pencil, or holds on the eraser to the pencil.
Yep.
The metal part. Technically it's green letters too.
Yep.
There is some orange in here too.
Yeah, big pops of orange.
In the that one.
Yeah. It's a good mix.
It was weird at first. I was like, that's too much, but it's worked out. It's worked out.
Yeah, so
I started this like
2
on a
weeks
Sunday.
ago?
I think it was 2 weeks ago today. And it's...
You like blazed through it, which is awesome.
Yeah. So it will definitely be done for next podcast. So...
New design, a new project.
That's how you hold it, right?
Yep.
Yes.
It looks awesome.
I'm excited about this.
Oh yeah, needles. Last thing. Needles. US 8 5mm needles.
They're pretty big, which helps it go faster.
Yep. It's a pretty thick. You have a fairly tight gauge.
Yeah, I do. It's looser than when I started.
That's true.
By a lot. But it is fairly tight, yeah. But I'm thinking it would block. Like, it's also held a little bit. It's squished on the needle. I have a shorter cord. I kind of like it that way, so that when it's done, I can take it off and it'll definitely stretch.
You'll be able to like double wrap it around your neck.
That was the goal,
nice and cozy.
Yeah. It'll be a little bit of a tight double wrap, but that's the goal.
I like those kinds of cowls, so it's nice and snug.
Like a hug on your neck.
Like a hug on your neck.
So yeah, that's about it. I don't know, I'm pretty quick because it's always just one project. But for now, that's my limit.
Thanks for hopping on and showing it off.
Thanks for having me again.
And we'll see you guys next time. I hope you have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever time it is there that you're having a good time. It is full of yarny fun.
Always.
And yeah, we'll get going. Bye.
Goodbye.